prophets and messengers of God that they came, they told us, eventually all of us we're gonna be under. God will question us about the things that we have done in this life. You understand? So due to this, and that's why the people who commit crimes and the people who commit things and bad things, they at least there will be a day that they're going to be punished for the things that they have done. Same for people who were faithful to God, they deserve as well salvation in the hereafter. It is as simple as that.
And I used
So
to
that's
believe, I understand that mentality. I think there is some goodness in that. I think there's some logic in it, but at the
Okay.
same time, just like the Bible, there are things that I look at and I say I don't believe that.
I
And
understand.
so therefore, I have to, I can pretend it doesn't exist, or I can convince myself, which I've done before, and people
Yeah.
do, or I can say, you know what? I don't believe these things in the Bible, or I don't believe these things in the Quran, but I do believe this, and it came from this tradition distinctively.
Yeah.
It's influenced my life distinctively.
Yeah.
And so therefore, I want to give recognition, open recognition even, to this, to God, and say, God, I think this could have been me. No problem. And
Okay.
that's what I want to do. It's not, like a bucket tip. No. It's boom.
My point is to you, let me just try to clarify to you. When we believe in one God, as yourself you said, yeah? So we know God will communicate to us to tell us what He wants from us. Simple. So God has sent prophets and messengers. So it's not going to be a cherry pick, No, I accept this, no, I don't accept this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. It's not our own intellectual ability to choose and to favor things and to accept things and to reject things based on our own analogy. It shouldn't be like this. Yeah?
And that's where we disagree.
Now, based on what then? Give me an objective thing. That's why when it comes to this, if we have dispute or something, we need to have an objective thing to describe that this thing, for example, is if this is an objective analogy to decide to accept or to reject.
For me, I have, and I need to be careful here.
Yeah.
I don't normally say that, by the way, but I need to be careful here. But I have spent these last 20-something years, I have spoken to people like someone walking past. I've talked to people like you.
Okay.
I don't want to come and say, well, this is what I disagree with. I don't want to do it. I've already done it, trust me. I've done it with scholars. I've done it with imams. I've done it with the people on the street. Everything.
It doesn't matter with how many people have done. I'm asking you a simple question.
I know.
How?
I don't want to bring any dishonor because at the end of the day.
No, it doesn't matter. You need to know.
Yes.
Okay, because you have some interesting points. You said, okay, you believe in one God.
Yes.
You believe we have to worship this one God.
Yes.
You have a monotheistic faith.
Yes.
As you told me earlier. And you told me that you believe if Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was calling for this monotheistic faith, you accept this. No problem, that's so beautiful thing.
Now, if I could speak to Muhammad, and this will answer your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah? If I could speak to Muhammad right
Come close here.
Then it would be... Very good. It would be no problem.
Okay.
Because I'm speaking to Muhammad. But as long as I'm 1,400 years removed from Muhammad, for me, I cannot distinctively say, well, I have this wrong with you, Muhammad. How do I know?
I understand. Now, the thing is in Islam, the thing is in Islam, we didn't just came up with these things. We have something called chain of narrations. Yeah. So which means if I have any point in related to our faith, we are able to trace it back all the way to Prophet Muhammad. We are able to trace it back all the way to Muhammad, peace be upon him, to know each person. For example, where are you from? You're originally from?
I'm from London.
Yeah. Let's say from London, yeah. You look Latin, that's why
I'm mixed, but my culture is mainly Israel.
Yeah, okay. So let's say, for example, you told me some part of London, you said to me, someone told you, or your neighbor who is trustworthy, you trust him, he told you your other neighbor came and maybe broke your door, etc. So you accepted this thing. because you know this person, you know the person will not lie, and that's why due to this you will accept this. Then you will, when you report to the police, you say, yeah, I know this, and then they will ask you. You said, I have this information which came to me from trustworthy source, etc. So we deal with the things exactly with the same manner. So that's why what we have something called chain of narrators. Each person, we know their characteristics. We know their character, if he's trustworthy or not, if he's a liar or not. So that's why we are able to trace back what the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said exactly.
Yes.
So that's why we have all the chain of narrators goes to the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and what he has said, what he didn't say, when he was silent about certain things, when he was quiet about certain things, when he talked about certain things, we have all of these reports are still there. So we are not just writing history. We're not talking about just writing history, people and eyewitnesses. No, well, we know the companion who were there, who said, I saw the Prophet ﷺ doing this, or I heard him saying this, and then one of the followers will say, I saw and heard this person saying this, and then all the way it goes back until it's compiled until our time. So that's something we have it. So that's why when you say, when he said, I didn't see Muhammad.
Just to say, I know about all this. But
okay, if you know about it. So that shows, and there is no any other faith like this.
Yes.
There is no faith like this.
Yes.
That you are able to trace back chain of narrators, one person after another, all the way to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. You cannot get it in any place, except in Islam. And then we introduce this kind of way to make sure that what the sources are authentic. So that's how Islam works. Now the question is here. If we are able to trace back the saying, the statement of Prophet Muhammad, the saying, the Quran as it is, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, his Sunnah, we are able to trace it back. And you said, okay, I believe if he was calling to this, and you believe he was someone as well, it was said about him, he was a truthful person, he was someone who is saying the truth, and he came with this faith, or Allah sent him with this faith, to worship none but God alone with no partners, and to follow the guidance of the Prophets and messengers of God. Which you accept?
I would accept the truth.
Okay, so now, from the truth that he has said, the things that he has said, they're going to be a resurrection. And he said this.
No.
He said this. He said this.
What you're saying is logical.
Not logical. I'm not talking about logic now.
No,
because resurrection, we're not talking.
Atheist has taken the word logical.
So I'm not talking about logic. I'm saying the things of the unseen. We don't deal with logic. We don't know. We don't know what's the hellfire, eternal punishment of the hellfire, or eternal pleasure of paradise. We don't know. We didn't see. It's not about our logic.
Well, that's what you're doing now. You're making it logical.
So no, what we make it understandable, not logical. Logical is something else. But we say now, since if you accept this concept that there is a prophet of God and the truth, then we need to test if this person is saying the truth or not. If you know that he is trustworthy.
Yes, I don't know.
Okay, now let's check now to see if he is trustworthy or not.
I've done
if he is trustworthy.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, for example, if you find me I'm a trustworthy.
Yes.
Then, and I told you about something which you didn't see, you will accept that because I'm trustworthy. Yeah? You accept this analogy?
Well, if you said you went to heaven on a donkey with wings.
We didn't say donkey. He didn't say donkey.
He didn't say donkey. He didn't say horse.
All right. He didn't say horse. He didn't say donkey. He didn't say nothing. Say ride. It's a ride. It's a ride.
He didn't say donkey.
No, not donkey. He said it's between the size of it, between the donkey and the mule, but he didn't say a donkey.
So
it's a ride. It says it's a ride.
It's a ride.
Ride. It's not a donkey, it's not a horse, it's not a camel, it's not of all of these things. It didn't say these things. It didn't say all of these things. It says that he went on a ride from Mecca to Jerusalem.
Wings?
It has wings, yes, but a ride. Like air jets now, they have wings.
It could be a certain creature that's not a donkey.
Could be whatever. We don't know. We don't know.
Like
it's a ride.
Have seraphim and stuff in
we don't know. It's a ride.
But okay.
It's a ride. So that's what he said. How we prove he never been there to Jerusalem, and then they said to him, "Okay, now describe us the people of the disbelievers." They said, "Okay, then describe us how it looked like." And he said, "I don't know. I don't recognize because it was night." And then God has lifted up the Jerusalem. He started describing all the details that's there when he never been there. To an eyewitnesses, to an eyewitnesses who testify about this statement.
And that's what they say.
That's what they testify for him. Now, some people, they believe, they say, okay,
You do know this is all what religion is based on, don't you?
Religion is based on things of the unseen.
Just not even religion. You know that's
No,
all politics is.
no, not politics. I'm not talking
This
politics.
person's trustworthy.
Yeah, we need to understand if the person is trustworthy,
Yeah.
and if he said the truth,
Yeah.
if we know that someone who's consistently saying the truth, never lied in his life,
Yeah.
when he comes, we have to accept that he's saying the truth. He doesn't need to lie.
Yeah.
What is the point to say to the people in a time where people they don't accept him, they disbelieve in him? What is the point to come to him? I went to Nigeria last night and came back. Huh?
To control.
No, he doesn't need to control. He wasn't in a position to control at that time. If he want to control, listen, let's use your own logic, yeah?
Okay.
If I wanted to control London, I will not bring some controversial things. People will not accept me, but I will go with the flow until I'm in charge. Then I will do whatever I wish. But he didn't do that. He was going against the flow.
How was he going against the flow?
Because people they were pagan, and he said you have to worship one God.
Yeah, that was.
So that's against the flow.
Thank you.
So that's against the flow.
Thank you.
So it's not about controversial. You understand? So now my point is, if he wanted to control, the person want to control, they don't go against the flow. If you want to, for example, here, if you wanted to be the mayor of London, yeah, you will not do controversial things to be mayor of London. You will go with the flow until you become leader, then you do whatever you wish. That's what generally it is, yeah? But if you wanted, that's why when you go against the flow, that means you are deeming yourself not to be leader at any point. But he was doing this because he was guided by God, saying to him, you have to say what's been revealed to you. So he will say what's been revealed to him, even though with a big challenge that the people will not accept him, and the people will not accept what he has said. So he knew this challenge and it will happen, and yet he continued saying what he was saying, and he didn't retract from it. You understand? Yep. So that's why when we have these things, so and as well, some of his companions, he said, when they said to him, your friend, that disbeliever, they said to him, your friend claiming that he went to Jerusalem, came back in the same night. He said, if he said so, then he said the truth. He said, how do you believe him? He said, I believe him that he brings news from the heavens. He brings news from Allah, from God. So Jerusalem is on earth here. So part of the revelation that came to him was through an angels. Came and revealed to him, come to him from the heavens.
Jibreel, yes.
Jibreel, who comes from heavens and conveying a message to him. So you see these things. So that's why there are things beyond our own intellectual ability to say, to accept or to reject. But we know if it came from God, we know we have to accept.
Oh no, I mean, what you're saying, I agree with it, but it's just not enough. Somebody can't just come to me and say, hey Eddie, there's one God. What do you mean there's one God?
You already accept there's one God. No. We don't need to discuss that.
And I say, okay, all right. And I say, oh man, that could come from God. God bless you.
Okay.
Right? And then he says, but yesterday I went to heaven on a winged animal, and I have...
Winged ride, they didn't say animal.
I have all these things added on, and all these things they're all from God.
Okay.
For me, I'm going to be like...
All right, 1 second. Yeah. Okay, you say it didn't make sense. But now
maybe yes, but on just saying, okay, no.
Now the question is, did God create things that is so until today we keep discovering some creatures which is...
It can be.
Things that beyond our even comprehension.
I trust.
You understand? Until now we discovered recently some animals deep in the ocean, they don't live, they don't see light.
You're not going to be using the Quran science, please.
We have, there are. Whether you like it or not, there are some scientific facts, not facts in the Quran, which Muhammad didn't have access, peace be upon him, didn't have access to the knowledge of nowadays to discover these things. How he knows about it? Now, for example, let me give you this. Listen,
yes.
Aiden. If we know something that is miracle, which is true miracle, will you accept that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was saying the truth? A miracle, that true miracle, that's something beyond any doubt, you say this is a miracle.
Of course.
Yeah?
That's why I'm saying I don't believe, because I am in the position to say when it does happen, I do believe.
Okay, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, yeah? What do you think the people knowledge of the cosmology 1400 years ago?
Do I think, or what was the actual cosmology?
What do they know? What the people knows about cosmology?
Well, it depends what part of the world you're in. But if you're talking Arabia and the Arabs particularly, in mostly, except for some elite people, but mostly had a flat Earth model.
Let alone the flat Earth. I'm talking about the cosmology.
Yeah, that's the cosmology. Because when we see the stars and we say, oh, they're trillions of miles away, to them, they said all them stars just part of a big dome. So it's kind of that, we can call it
So
cosmology.
they don't know much. What we know nowadays.
No.
Okay, now good. So if Muhammad, peace be upon him, will bring us information that's only discovered recently, how he will know about it?
Well, either through science or otherwise, if he couldn't know it by science, then some higher being
Informed him.
or thingy or something has informed him.
Yeah, okay, good. So we need to accept that it could be higher being informed him.
Yeah.
So that's the only way. So, for example, 1400 years ago, that there is in the Quran mention about that saying that God is saying in the Quran, I will not make an oath by the positions of the stars. And it's a great oath, but you are not yet aware of that. So God is talking about the positions of the stars. Now, he didn't say about the stars, he talked about the positions of the stars. Now, at that time, they said, okay, the stars east, west, whatever, that's the direction. But we discovered recently that what you see in the night is literally the position of the star, not the star itself. Why? Because when the light travels in the space millions of years until it reaches your eyes, that star already disappears, not there, or maybe moved from there.
Yeah.
So what you see in the sky in the night is the position of the star rather than the star itself.
So
Who informed
that
Muhammad
he's
about
saying
this?
the same thing.
Huh?
You're saying that when you were saying that, you were saying that.
The Quran is saying this.
Brothers,
Can I ask you a question?
The Quran is saying this.
I understand. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is it possible for me to go to the mosque and just give honor to that one thing I not
Yeah,
say
inshallah.
let's go.
that was a God and go there and say,
Yeah, come.
is it and salah?
No problem.
Thank you. That's all I want to know.
Come,
Thank you.
come there. I go to Regent's Park Mosque. You could come anytime.
That's where somebody was saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
come, no problem. Come anytime.
Is it Saturday?
Come anytime. Come anytime. Eden, we need to go to pray now. Do you want to join us? Come and see us how we pray if you want. Come
I
join
know
us.
how you pray, yes.
Yeah, just come and see us. Yeah, how we pray. Here. Jazakallah khair.
We'll pray here.